The first death didn't look like a food story. It looked like sudden kidney failure. Unexplained, fast, irreversible. By the time doctors realized it wasn't isolated, people in other states were already collapsing from the same invisible cause. What connected them wasn't a restaurant. It wasn't a brand. It wasn't even a shared meal. It was romaine lettuce. By the first week of April 2018, patterns were beginning to form. Severe E. coli 0157H7 infections appeared in more than one state, unusually aggressive, progressing too fast to dismiss. No food had been identified, only patients. Only lab results starting to align. The signal reached Washington before the answers did. An outbreak was acknowledged publicly, but without a source. Romaine stayed on shelves. Salads stayed on menus. And people kept eating the same food that had already begun putting others in the hospital. As case reports accumulated, one detail surfaced repeatedly. Illnesses clustered around chopped romaine lettuce traced back to the Yuma, Arizona growing region. It narrowed the search, but not enough to stop distribution. Then the pattern widened. New cases appeared tied not only to chopped lettuce, but to whole heads as well. The boundary investigators were relying on dissolved in real time. On April 19, 2018, the guidance no longer left room for interpretation. The CDC and FDA issued an alert unlike anything Americans had seen before. Not a recall, not a brand advisory. A nationwide directive: stop eating all romaine lettuce from the Yuma growing region. Grocery shelves emptied within hours. Restaurants pulled salads mid-service. Hospitals were already full. By then, the numbers could no longer be reframed. More than 200 people sickened. Nearly 100 hospitalized. Dozens developed hemolytic uremic syndrome, a form of kidney failure that can permanently alter a life. And 5 people died. It was the deadliest leafy greens outbreak in modern American history. The scale alone didn't explain it. The traceback did. Not to a single plant, not to a single company, not to one bad shipment, but to a region. Yuma, Arizona isn't one farm. It's one of the most productive winter lettuce hubs in North America. Dozens of farms, multiple growers, different processors, all feeding the same national supply chain when other fields lie dormant. This outbreak did not come from one company. There was no single logo to pull from shelves, no single facility to shut down. That diffusion made containment harder. Running alongside the fields was an open irrigation canal. Upstream sat concentrated cattle operations. Water samples later tested positive for the outbreak strain. No spill, no dramatic breach, just microscopic transfer. Water, organic material, wind, and time. Leafy greens are washed but not sterilized. Processing relies on cold water treated with chlorine, often 20 to 200 parts per million, enough to reduce surface bacteria, not enough to penetrate plant tissue. And lettuce leaves aren't smooth. They fold. They crease. They tear during harvest. Once bacteria enter those microchannels, washing becomes cosmetic. The cold chain adds another layer of misdirection. Cold doesn't kill E. coli 0157H7. It preserves it. Refrigeration suppresses the bacteria that make food smell bad, while allowing dangerous pathogens to survive quietly for days or weeks. The same system that keeps lettuce crisp keeps contamination viable long enough to move across the country. By the time romaine reached distribution centers, it looked perfect. Right, fresh, safe. And it wasn't. Safeguards didn't intercept it because they weren't built to. Agricultural water testing at the time was periodic, not continuous. Field inspections focused on visible animal intrusion, not invisible runoff. And unlike meat, dairy, or canned foods, leafy greens have no kill step, no heat, no final intervention, no moment where safety is guaranteed. Once contamination happens in the field, every downstream control becomes a delay, not a barrier. For consumers, the consequences weren't abstract.
Parents waited beside dialysis machines.
Young adults were told their kidneys might never fully recover. Families planned funerals after eating what they believed was the healthiest option on the plate. For regulators, realization arrived after illness had already outrun traceback. By the time guidance expanded, Romaine had passed through thousands of kitchens. Only after the deaths did changes begin to take shape. More frequent water testing, expanded buffer zones, voluntary labeling to identify growing regions. Those adjustments reflected a deeper recognition. The food safety system had been built around appearance, speed, and trust. Not early detection, not containment, and not failure at scale. Romaine lettuce didn't just cause an outbreak. It exposed a structural weakness hiding inside modern food safety. The belief that clean-looking food is safe food. The warnings lifted. Romaine returned to shelves. But the biology didn't change. The leaves still fold the same way. The cold still preserves pathogens, and the system still depends on danger remaining invisible long enough to pass. In 2018, 5 people paid with their lives for that delay, and the food that delivered it still looks exactly like health.